What's up, everybody? It is Wednesday, October 7th, 2015. This is Radio Tokyo, and I'm, of course, your host, Jonathan. Now, you have to excuse me, but we're doing a little different setup today, so kind of bear with me on what you're going to see. Yes, I did say see. The current background right now, of course, you see is our mascot, Diana, with the Radio Tokyo logo, and whatever. But I'm just to get into some stories here about what's been going on, since our Monday episode, and then the actual topic of today's episode, which is something that I'm doing for my mom, because I love my mom. Earlier this week, my mom and I actually watched Age of Ultron, and now my mom is not a big superhero fan. She knows that I am, and she's cool with that. But she does like the movies, but the reason she likes them is because there's celebrities in there that she knows, and she likes to gossip about celebrities, which is kind of cool. But she actually asked me to explain to her, what was going on, because there was so much she couldn't follow it. So this video is actually for her, and I'm going to explain what connects the entire Marvel Cinematic Universe together in, I'm going to go for 10 minutes, I guess. But first, as I said, I want to get into some stuff that's been going on past couple of days, and the world has gone kind of crazy because now I don't normally bring it up, but the young lady you're seeing on the screen right now, her name is Kiesha Jenkins. She's 22, and she was murdered over the weekend. She lived in Philadelphia, I should say. Now Kiesha, of course, as you can't tell the picture, and that's cool. You're not supposed to tell. But Kiesha is transgender. And she was murdered by what's assumed to be a group of 4 to 5 men who pulled her out of her car at 2:30 in the morning and then beat her and shot her in the back. Now, when I say you can't tell anything about her from the picture, she's a woman. She's a beautiful woman to me. It doesn't matter what your perceptions are. This young lady is now dead because someone or a group of people decided to attack her for I don't know why. And that's really not cool. She is actually the 24th transgender individual to be murdered in the United States in the year 2015. Last year, between January and December, like all 2014, there was only 20. So that means by October, we're ahead by 4. And it's sad, it's pitiful, and I know a lot of individuals who are transgender. And I actually have a lot of friends who are in the LGBTQ community as a whole, and they're upset, and I'm upset for them because this kind of shit shouldn't happen. Because apparently in society, we look at individuals like Kiesha, we say, oh, well, that's just a really gay man. Oh, well, that's a crossdresser. Oh, that's a tranny. That's a weirdo. That's a freak. No, this is a woman. I'm sorry, she's a woman, and violence against women is unacceptable. Violence against gays is unacceptable. Violence against anybody is not acceptable. And it needs to stop. Society needs to get over the ridiculous nonsense. Okay? People shouldn't have to die because they're different. That's all I really want to point out, because that's really the message that everyone needs to hear. But going to the next topic, going to something that's actually a little more it's not interesting, amusing. The image you're seeing right now is hot dogs of Disney princesses. This was actually pulled off of, what was this? This was Tumblr. A user named Lucky Peach uploaded this, and as you can see, it's Disney princesses. And I don't know if they were tasty or not. I would assume that they were. I don't know. But let's see. Going from right to left, of course, you have Pocahontas, then you have Belle, then you have Ariel, and then you have, actually, I don't know who that's supposed to be. I really don't. I can identify 3 out of 4, but I think it's interesting, and that's certainly an interesting concept to do to make them into hot dogs. So yeah, that's new. I've never seen that before, but whatever. Speaking of things never seen before, this little kid that you're seeing right now, he is a year old, I think, 16 months, something like that. His name is Jackson. 16 months. I'm sorry, 16 months. His name is Jackson Taylor. Now you may have heard about this, but he was in the car with his mother and sister when they were in a head-on vehicle with another head-on crash with another vehicle that hit them at 100. Sorry, 70 miles per hour last month. The force of the impact was enough to actually cause his spine to detach from the back of his head. That's known as an internal decapitation. Jackson, it was airlifted to this is all in Australia, by the way. He was airlifted to Brisbane, where surgeons spent 6 hours and were able to use wire and a piece of his rib to piece his vertebrae back together. Now he's going to have to spend 8 weeks in that brace, which they're calling Halo, because this boy's an angel. Uh, yes, they're calling it Halo because they think, or because they feel that he had to have a guardian angel. Now, really, that's actually impressive. Like I said, it's considered internal decapitation, and first time it's ever been done. It's amazing. It's wonderful. Just look at that little boy right there, and you see, just it amazes me. It's really cool, and I'm very happy for him and his family to have made it through this. But yes, finally, it's time for the actual main topic. So I'm gonna try and do this as much as I possibly, or as quickly as I possibly can. So we're gonna talk about the Marvel Cinematic Universe, and of course, the Avengers team right now, as everyone should know, is of course Iron Man, Captain America, Thor, Hulk, Black Widow, and Hawkeye. But at the end of Age of Ultron, and again, possible spoilers here if you haven't seen it, very possible spoilers. At the end of Age of Ultron, Hulk is of course wandered off. Hawkeye is probably retired, and Thor has gone back to Asgard. So that leaves spots. Oh, and of course Iron Man's retired. So the other ones that you really have that are still going to be on the team that we know of right now, Captain America and Black Widow. Now this is directly leading into uh, the Civil War movie coming out next year. So without further ado, let's get into this and try and get everyone caught up on what's actually been going on. Okay, so of course, first off, we have to have a discussion about the Incredible Hulk. The Hulk movie, was the first one that came out. Now, most people don't consider it linked, but it actually is very much linked to the story. But we're gonna have more on that later. And then, of course, everyone knows about Iron Man having come out, and Iron Man is considered the start of the Marvel Cinematic Universe, even though the Hulk came out first. Why? Because reasons. Okay, so Hulk and Iron Man movies are already out. They're already popular. Iron Man came out the same year that The Dark Knight did, which is Heath Ledger's movie where he played the Joker. Okay, but of course, the first official Avenger movie is Captain America, and that's wonderful. That's fun. That's interesting. Blah 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 blah. Now, none of this really connects together, except for, of course, you see in the Captain America movie, the Tesseract. Now, the Tesseract is where everything starts to be drawn together. The Tesseract. Now, okay, if you're familiar with the comics, you understand the Tesseract is one of the Infinity Stones, right? Okay. Infinity Stones, of course, being sought by Thanos, and Thanos, this whole thing is that he wants to destroy the universe, rule the universe, whatever. And one of the only people who's standing up to stop Thanos is, of course, Thor. Okay, Thor gets thrown in the story after Captain America gets thrown in the story because Captain America stops the Red Skull and saves Tesseract. Of course, Captain America's frozen. They find the Tesseract, do experiments on it, and that's where Thor steps in. Okay, Thor steps in the story, and he gets involved, and it just goes kind of crazy. Uh, after this, what essentially happens is that all those individuals get brought together under Shield. Okay, and then of course there's Shield agents who were there to begin with. So the ones who were there to begin with, the ones that already work for Shield, are of course Black Widow and Hawkeye. So the Hulk is contacted by Black Widow. She's brought into it. Thor is brought into it through Shield. Tony Stark is contacted through Shield. He's brought in. Captain America is brought back, and then boom, then you have the first Avengers movie. Okay, so that's all leading up to the very first Avengers movie. So then you have the current lineup we've had for 2 movies now: Iron Man, Captain America, Thor, Hulk, Black Widow, Hawkeye. Whew. Kind of a lot to get through, isn't it? Okay, now none of this really even connects thus far, except for the fact that that you had the Chitauri brought into it by Loki, and the Chitauri are actually working for this beautiful purple-faced individual right here, Thanos. Thanos is, of course, if you're familiar with the comics, you know that Thanos winds up destroying a third of the entire universe because he's able to get all the Infinity Stones, and that leads to the Infinity War, which is coming out next couple of years. Whew. Ready for this? Okay, let's tie all this shit together, because Thanos is actually the key here. There's another great movie that came out that everyone loves. Everyone really, really, really loves. Of course, Guardians of the Galaxy. I'm sorry, I lost my place for a second. I'm sorry, I was not looking at my notes. Everyone loves Guardians of the Galaxy. It's a fantasy movie. All these wonderful things in there. Chris Pratt's amazing. Everyone in there is really good. Now, as you know in the movie, they have interactions with Thanos, not directly, but people who work for him. Okay, and people who work for Thanos are trying to help him get the Infinity Stones, which, by the way, is what Peter Quill, also known as Star-Lord, actually steals. So the whole movie, the little orb they have is it's one of the Infinity Stones. Okay, so there's that bit of awesomeness right there. Now, the next Thor movie that comes out, The Dark World, you see this, blood-like essence type thing. That's also another stone. Okay, so that's the Tesseract, and then there is the Purple Stone from Guardians, and then there is the Blood-like Stone, which I cannot remember their actual names. I'm sorry about that, but there's all those brought together. Now, by the time you get to Age of Ultron, of course, you have the Mind Stone, which is the stone that sits in the middle of Vision's head. I also just spoiled the movie for it. I'm sorry, but Vision is brought about because Ultron wants to make a body. Okay, so that's 4 stones. There's 1 left somewhere, or there should be. I think if I'm keeping track of this, there's 5 stones. There's 4, and of course at the end of Age of Ultron, you see Thanos. He says, "Fine, I'll do it myself." Now this is going to tie directly in to Infinity War, of course, which we know is going to come after Civil War. So Thanos has now got the Infinity Gauntlet. Now, if you've been keeping track of all the movies, and you know who had what, who had it where, and whatnot, then you know that it was actually Thor. Well, actually, it was Thor's father who kept the Infinity Gauntlets in Asgard. They were locked away in a prison. Well, not really a prison, but a vault. So Thanos has evidently gotten them from the vault in Asgard. So Thanos is the ultimate bad guy right now. And all the movies that I just kind of rushed through really quickly are leading up to him being a big badass. So I think what we're going to see is the Avengers team, and then we're going to bring in the Guardians of the Galaxy, and they're going to fight Thanos, and that's probably going to be what happens in Marvel's Infinity. Excuse me, I'm sorry, getting really badly tongue-tied here. That's what you're going to see in the Avengers Infinity War, and that's actually kind of cool. And I really hope that this is somehow explained everything. Now I know there's a bunch of videos out there that talk about what's going on, explain everything. Check them out if you get a chance to. But I hope that I was able to, in my own very much rambling way, explain exactly what's happening in the movies. So I hope my mom watches this, and I certainly hope that she learns something. I hope you learned something too. But anyway, thank you for watching. Thank you for, well, actually, yeah, watching and listening now, because there's things on the screen you can see now. Hooray! Thank you for that. Please remember to like this video, comment on it, share it, subscribe to our channel, like us on Facebook. Tell Nick how much you hate him. Tell Danny that you really need her to come back. But Friday show's coming up. Should have our special guest on. I really hope we do. Look forward to that, and I'll probably announce who it is on probably Friday. So yeah, look forward to that. Oh, by the way, today's supposed to be the end of the world. I completely forgot about it because it's not going to happen. So those of you who were worried that the end of the world was going to happen today, if you're playing, end of the world bingo, you don't get Mecha Mart today. Sorry about that. Yeah. Anyway, Friday show's coming up. It'll be awesome. Thank you for listening. Have a great day, everybody. I'll talk to you Friday. Bye-bye.